Well, Elimination Chamber 2026 is in the books, and Rhea Ripley and Randy Orton are going to WrestleMania, and that was the surprise of the century. Plus, we got an interesting what's in the box after all, and we are going to break it all down. So, welcome to the show, the Elimination Chamber Review 2026. I am your host, Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill, Mr. T. Reese, and fellas. What do you think of Elimination Chamber yesterday?
Much like an RKO, it was out of nowhere for Randy Orton pulling off the win. I'm shocked. Shocked.
Uh, I didn't think they'd ever pull the trigger. To be honest with you, with the names that were in the ring, I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger on. I thought for sure it was going to Cody based off the field that was out there. And I mean, that was probably, that's the first time WWE's done something out of character. I didn't expect them to do anything with Randy at this point, and for them to go ahead and now they're allowing him to go on a little bit of a run. He's going to be the focus up to WrestleMania. I applaud Randy. I want him to get 15. I'm cheering for Randy right now.
I feel like he has to win. Like it feels like a waste if he doesn't end up winning at Mania. And I think the bigger question out of all of this though is where do we go with the fact that you still had Cody feuding with Drew, Fatu feuding with Drew, Sammy quasi feuding with Drew. Like you add Randy Orton to the mix now, and it completely shakes up the storytelling.
So before we get into, breaking down the match and the show, there was a post-match angle, apparently, that we missed. I saw this morning where Nick Aldis confronted Drew McIntyre out in the hallway and got in his face a little bit about it, and they had to be separated. And he told him, enough is enough with you and Cody Rhodes. You keep trying to deny him an opportunity to challenge you at WrestleMania. So on SmackDown this Friday, it's going to be Cody and Drew McIntyre one-on-one for the title.
Really?
This lines up to either the triple threat or the four-way. It's all it
Or
does.
or Randy interferes, costs Cody, and then it's just still ends up being Randy versus Drew.
No, I don't think
would have.
I don't know if it would be towards Cody. I could probably see him going after Drew during the match, just end the match.
I mean,
won't even finish.
If it ends in a DQ, then that has to be a multi-person match at Mania.
Well, I don't even think you're going to get a DQ. I just think it's going to end with him in the ring going after him, and then you have all three of them going at each other. And I think that's going to give you a little focus at the end of them two standing in front of the WrestleMania sign. That's going to give you a sign.
Do we have any inkling that they're going to take the title off of Drew?
I mean, I think that would be a mistake. I don't think that you need to rush the Cody versus Randy. I don't think it has to be a WrestleMania thing. I think Randy and Drew is a fine match for Mania. And I mean, I already told you guys what I thought they could do with Cody for Mania, which we're going to talk about later. But I think Drew needs to still be the champ going into Mania.
Yeah, I don't think that it would kind of suck, I'll be honest with you. This is why I'm kind of struggling if they're going to give Randy his 15, just because the Drew first run was short-lived and was during COVID. So now he gets his second shot, and I just don't see how they're just going to give him a short reign. I just don't. At least the SummerSlam, I would imagine that he'll probably hold the title. Maybe longer, who knows? But I mean, it is owed to Drew because he pretty much held it. He held the show up during COVID. Don't forget that. He was the face during that time period. A lot of people weren't even around. Roman Reigns, dealing with his health issues, and he wasn't really trying to get involved because of the COVID stuff. So he wasn't really doing a whole lot of matches. So Drew was kind of holding up the men's division during COVID. So he should get something.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It was Drew, Bailey, and Asuka who were there every week wrestling in the Performance Center. I remember that. And and I was so glad that they rewarded Asuka with that title run when she was just out there killing it every week during COVID. But let's talk about the match, and then because there was a lot of stuff that happened during the match, including some surprise returns as well. So the match itself started off with all of the competitors coming down to the ring. And the one thing that bothered me about this a little bit, and I was listening to some other reviews as well, and I didn't obviously time it myself, but we were all watching this together on the live stream, and thanks to those who follow along with us. But there was 32 minutes of wrestling in this match, and between the end of the CM Punk match, the box opening reveal, and all of the entrances, there were 37 minutes between the end of the last match and the ringing of the bell in this match. Way too long. The end, and Reese, you had made a comment about it when we were doing the live stream yesterday. The entrances took way too long. There were way too many commercials. Like, I mean, that like you're expecting your fan base, and I don't want to like just start this off with complaining, but you're expecting your fan base to pay all of this money on this new ESPN Plus app, and you are just blasting them with commercials over and over and over again. And there were so many. There were so many commercials. This was one of the hardest ones to watch. It was unnecessarily extended, way too long. There was
Oh
more
yeah.
commercials and entrances than there was wrestling on this 3 hour and change show. There was less than an hour and a half of wrestling on this 3+ hour show. That's not
This
that's not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
this one definitely felt like it went way longer than any of the recent PLEs. And no doubt that's because there were so many commercials jam packed in there. I mean, I'm not going to complain about the box opening part because that was a planned segment. But
Well, that was only
between,
it was only 4 minutes.
right,
The box open
I'm
was
just saying though,
4 minutes. Yeah.
I think the bigger issue is the combination of the fact that there were commercials way too frequently that went on. Like you said, it wasn't like one commercial, it was like eight each time. So they went on for a significant amount of time. And the fact that literally the entrances were just ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, we didn't need each guy to meander out to the ring and climb on top of the pods and like when Trick went on every single pod. Like, completely unnecessary. I get you want to play to the crowd, but just get the damn match started. And
Well,
I think I said it on the live stream. Thank God Jay wasn't in it because he would have rolled it back for every pod he stood on top of.
yeah, it was just too much. And you're absolutely right. Like they're all coming out, and like the ref had to yell at a couple of them to move it along, right? Like
Oh yeah.
guys, like you need to move it along. And it took I can't imagine what it must have been like to be in the building there, Reese. Like, you're sitting there just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, like 40 minutes, between matches,
I
like for
think
wrestling to start again.
I think you mentioned during the match, Mike, that maybe they were dragging out due to setting up Cody to do some crazy entrance or something like that, and he didn't. So I don't know
Nope.
what the whole deal was and why they were allowing him to walk to the ring and do all that nonsense before they got in the ring. Didn't make any sense. Wasn't very professional. We're here to see wrestling. I'm not here to watch, guys jumping into the crowd and screaming at every inch of every, you know, person that's sitting in the arena. We need to, it definitely slowed down the show, which I didn't like. When you're talking about, was it Danhausen was like 4 minutes?
Yeah.
There's another 4 minutes of wasted time that you could add in there. You know what made it worse too? Was the
It was a planned segment.
clock they were showing during commercial breaks. The clock.
Yeah.
Why are we
Oh, in the corner? Yeah.
You're telling me I'm about to watch 5 minutes of commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
I gotta say, playing to the crowd, though. I mean, WWE, you like to say, Mike, that they're a moment company, but in addition to that, they're also a spectacle company, and playing to the crowd is part of that. So we got to understand that that is going to happen, but there has to be a fair, like medium point for it. I don't know the word I'm trying to think of here, but like there has to be like the perfect spot where you're playing to the crowd, but you're not taking 4 days to do it.
Well, don't forget too now, as you said, a spectacle is definitely. I agree with you with that. But the spectacle is only for certain wrestlers, not for everybody.
These are your main big guys that you're trying to make a big thing out of, though.
I get that, but this is just a ring entrance. That has nothing to do with if you're selling it to the crowd or not. We're just
The entrances are part of their characters, though.
But I'm saying you save moments and spectacles. So you save those 4 moments. Cody Rhodes, when he comes out, that's a spectacle. You treat it like that. Undertaker, same thing. The other guys have to earn that. Not everybody handed that ability.
I can agree.
Walk to the ring
with that.
Get in the ring.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, Javon Evans doesn't get that. Trick Williams shouldn't get that either. I mean, they get a decent entrance, but like way too much, way too long. Logan Paul too, way too much, way too long. Cody and Randy should have been the only ones that got that. And the same thing with the women's. It really should have been Rhea, maybe Tiffany that got that. Nobody else.
Yeah, it's too
Like I
much.
said, they need to find a happy medium. Is what it comes down to. You pick like you just said, T. You pick and choose your bigger people. If this were WrestleMania, that's one thing. Like obviously at WrestleMania, you want people to have their huge entrances, but at a normal PLE like this, like you just said, I think you hit the nail on the head there, T. You give your big stars the moment entrance, and your other guys just get their normal entrance.
Right. You're going overboard. And also, don't forget now, it also takes away from those other guys. So when Cody comes down, I mean, now everybody's taking as long as Roman Reigns to get in the ring now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And you know what? I don't even blame Roman Reigns because he started it. Well, actually, let's take it back. Undertaker started it.
Oh, yeah. Undertaker walks.
Right. And that's been passed on to Roman Reigns. So those are 2 of the all-time greatest WWE wrestlers to ever step in the ring. They have done what they've done, and they deserve to be able to do that.
Yeah,
young guys coming up from the NXT. Now you're dumbing down all the entrances for everybody else. Now it's at the point where now I'm not even going to pay attention because it's taking too long. I mean, Jay ruined it.
Yeah,
the Yeet thing, taking forever to get down to the ring and all that stuff has ruined it because now everybody wants to do that now. And it just, for me, it's even with, Dan coming out of the box, even that alone was like, okay, what are we doing? I don't understand what I feel like I'm watching some old 70s, a show like Saturday Night Live, and you're just doing like a funny skit just to make fun of something. That's what it felt like when he came out. I thought it was like a joke. I'm like, that's how you're going to introduce him? That's the problem is the world with that cheesy entrance, no history, no background, nothing. You're just going to have him come out of a box and, hey, hi, I'm Dan.
I feel like that's part of his character, though, is the whole cheesiness of the thing.
Yeah, but people don't know that. They don't know
that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem,
exactly.
Though, right? Like they don't know. Like WWE has a problem when they introduce people who are not Cody Rhodes. Because Cody Rhodes was a WWE guy. There have been a handful of AEW guys that have come to WWE, and like you need to do a better job presenting these people, right? Like I get it, Reese. Like this dude is a comedy character, and I doubt they're going to very much use him. We were joking last night that he's probably going to have a match in AAA with Mr. Iguana, right? Like that's probably going to be a thing, just because it's goofy. He'll probably have a match with R-Truth, but like, yeah, if you don't, and most of your WWE people, they don't watch AEW. They don't, I mean, we kind of follow it because we have this channel, but like, I don't watch it religiously, regularly. I watch the big shows and that's about it. So I couldn't tell you about the week-to-week TV. And half of these guys don't even get on the big shows for AEW. So I didn't really know anything about this guy. You guys were telling me during the live stream last night that he's like a good wrestler. I had no idea. I kind of just thought he was like a joke character. And I was like, why is this guy here? But anyway, getting back
I'll
to
tell you what was there.
What?
It's because he's real good friends with Punk.
Oh, well,
like real good friends with Punk.
That might explain it.
Well, everyone keeps blaming anyone from some AEW and that it's a Punk thing is the reason why they.
No, I'm just saying it's a known fact that the two of them are actually really good friends.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, that's no reason for WWE to be signing people. You know what I mean?
Punk puts in a good word for him.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The best thing they probably should have did for him was kind of do what they're doing with the Gargano. Every once in a while, you just see some weird stuff happening around the ring in the backstage area. You maybe see him poke around the corner, then poke back. You're giving people a reason to pay attention to watch everything that's happening in the interviews and now because you're looking for Dan now in the background. You're looking for some sort of messaging. And they just kind of just did a variety show with him. I was ready to call in to make a donation.
Oh my goodness. So the match started with Cody Rhodes and Javon Evans in the ring. And then as the match went on, the rest of the crew got into the ring. Trick came in, and then LA Knight, then Logan Paul, and then lastly Randy Orton. And we saw Logan Paul eliminate Javon Evans, Logan Paul eliminate LA Knight, and then Logan Paul eliminate Trick Williams in succession. And Logan Paul's elimination of Trick Williams was helped by, Cody and Randy kind of, hitting him with their finishers and then allowing, Logan to kind of slimily get in there and steal the pin. So, the match itself, which we'll talk about in a second, was fine. But then as Trick was attempting to exit, there was a masked man, again, who attempted to climb the side of the cage. He got escorted out by security, which saw another masked man come in, hit the stomp on Logan Paul, and reveal himself to be, in fact, a returning Seth Rollins, which was very interesting. He gave like a look to Cody as if like, this is your fault that I got injured, but I just helped you. And it was kind of like, it was very interesting, the exchange that they had, because he was staring at Cody the whole time. And, Paul Heyman made his Paul Heyman face, which was kind of hilarious. Then, as Logan Paul was exiting, Cody and Randy were about to go at it, and Drew McIntyre, out of nowhere, smashed Cody in the back of the head with the title, made his way into the ring. They all started brawling, and eventually, Drew went to go for the Claymore, and ran into an RKO from Randy, a crossroads from Cody, tossed him out of the ring, and then a surprise RKO out of nowhere. And Randy Orton picked up the 1-2-3 on Cody Rhodes to win the Elimination Chamber.
I mean, they don't call them the most dangerous three letters in wrestling for no reason. It's the fact that WWE was willing to go there with that final stretch. I'm still kind of shocked, but I love it. I think that it was the right choice after the fact if you're not going to have Cody win. I don't think any of those other guys would have made any sort of sense storyline wise. And I think that they finally, like T said, did something right.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was good booking, and I'm very curious to see where they go with this with the picture. And I still think you're right. It's probably going to be a multi-person match. I mean, I suppose you could do Cody and Jacob together, but that doesn't finish, what they've got going on with Drew. So
I forgot about Jacob because he's probably going to interfere on Monday night.
I was going to say, is he the one who causes the DQ on Friday, Jacob?
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
And yeah, I feel like if that's the case, it has to end up as a fatal four-way at Mania.
But then what's the point of Elimination Chamber then?
It's typical WWE booking. How often does that kind of shit happen with WWE? They do it all the time where you frequently ask, what was the point? I mean, it was the same thing last year when they added Rhea to the Bianca Belair and Io Sky match. What was the point of winning the Rumble? And you know what I mean?
Oh, Bianca won the Chamber, but yeah.
Chamber. Yeah, you get my point though. WWE does this to themselves all the time where they think they have a good idea and then because they have written their story one way, they have to like backtrack and rewrite it like 6 different times.
Yeah, the art of storytelling has completely been removed from WWE. I mean, that's the one thing I can say about Vince back when he was in his prime. Storytelling was his strong suit. He was very good at mixing up things. He used to walk the edge a lot with some of his storylines. obviously we got the history of all the stuff that went on backstage, but still, either way, they had very good storylines. And incredible. And the thing that's interesting is, this is how you know you're good at telling storylines, is because we weren't asking for any new wrestlers back during the Attitude Era. We weren't begging to bring up people to get on the show because it's getting stale. The storytelling, I mean, how many times have we watched The Rock wrestle Steve Austin? Did it matter? Did it bother you at all?
Nope.
No. How many times you watch Undertaker wrestle Kane? It didn't bother you because you knew the storyline. The storylines made sense. I mean, that's the one thing Vince, and he probably didn't pass it down to anybody. He probably, Triple H probably knows a little bit from being around him, but that's the one thing I don't think Vince passed on to anybody, because he held on too long, and he's too old to pass on that message now. He's all crashing his cars and Bentleys and everything now, so there's no way you're going to get anything out of him anymore. But WWE needs someone who can creatively help set storylines, and not just week to week, long written out storylines that make sense at some point down the line. You can connect other stories and realize, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That makes sense. Now it's just, which top star can I cram in the ring would have a bunch of NXT guys in the ring with them? That's what WWE's become.
Yeah, and it's amazing too, because they have a team of writers. Like, you have a whole team of writers. So the fact that you can't have better, more cohesive storytelling for like episodic TV is kind of astounding to me. When you have professional writers.
Not just that, both shows have full writing teams. It's not like they have one team for everything. They literally have two separate teams for each show. And the three of us could come up with a better, more cohesive story than those two writer rooms combined.
Well, you just labeled the problem with WWE. You have too many writers. It makes no sense to have separate writers for each show. Makes no sense at all. Vince did it himself with a small writing team for years and controlled both shows. So you cannot tell me why. I don't understand why they have so many writers, because now everyone's got you have too many hands in the cookie jar. Everybody's got their own thing. And now you got to cohesively make up a story for WrestleMania, trying to combine the two shows with two separate teams trying to do it.
I mean, I understand why they have one for each show, but the fact that I think they have too many people on each of those teams. I mean,
I don't understand why. It makes no sense.
Because the shows don't, they try to treat each of them as their own standalone thing.
Right, for your eyes only, but not for writing. You're not back there sitting at the tables. The writing portions, you have no bearing on that. For our eyes, yes, you want to. Obviously, you want us to picture these as two separate shows. But for writing, that has nothing to do with it. The writers have no bearing on how to project that to us, because we're not asking about any of those people.
I don't know. I don't know that I agree with you on that one.
Feel free. The floor is yours.
No, I think that it allows them to. I mean, in theory, it should allow them to focus specifically on that show and tell a better story. But the problem is, like you said, it's for some reason that's not working.
Well, because it's not two shows. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Except it is two shows, though.
No. On TV, for our eyes, it's supposed to image two shows. It's one entity. It's
right,
one,
but it's. I don't know.
I mean, they're crossing over wrestlers from one show to another all the time. That's
there's no brand split anymore. That's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. I got to write a story for this show, but somehow I got to connect this to the other show for WrestleMania. Two separate teams trying to put that together at the same time, trying to do shows for the week. It's not possible. Nobody does that. No smart business would have done that. If you keep one writing team who writes for both shows, you can keep some sort of you can keep everyone on the same line as far as the story is being told. You're not, and like I said, it does feel like sometimes that none of the stories even match up. Even when you try to cross them over, it doesn't match up.
So let's let's go into the rest of the show. The show proper opened up with the women's chamber match, which saw Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and Raquel go into their respective cages. And it's Kiana James and who was the last one? Help me here. What am I missing? Kiana James and oh my God,
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton. Thank you. Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton started the match. And this match was good. Obviously, it did see Rhea Ripley become the winner of the match, which was to no one's surprise. I think what this match really suffered from was that all of these women have very minimal interaction with one another, A, and B, none of these women have any interaction with Jade at all. So it kind of felt like the stakes for this match were really not that great. Like it kind of seemed like a foregone conclusion that Rhea was going to win just because it's the biggest match that WWE can put on, right? And I think we said this during our live stream last night. Like Rhea versus Jade is the biggest match that they can put on at WrestleMania. So therefore Rhea has to win because there is no other story going into this match. You know, these women don't have history with Jade. They don't have, and Jade was there, you know, holding up her title, right? But it was like, that's it. That's the story. And Jade, as we've said many times on this channel, Jade can't tell a story. Like Jade's story is just coming out to the ring and saying, I'm that bitch and walking away. Right. So
and hurting people.
We need to do, if we want people to care about this, we need to do a much better job building this up. And I'm hoping that Rhea Ripley can help to carry this story for the next 6 weeks to make it a match that people are going to care about. And the one thing that I will say is she damn well better win the title. She damn well better win the title at WrestleMania.
Well, I think Jade at this. I think they should have treated Jade like they treat Brock Lesnar. Honestly, you don't need her on TV all the time, but when she shows up, you know business is about to pick up. And then you let her do a short storyline with somebody, grab the title for a short period of time. Who knows? Whatever you want to do, but give it the Brock Lesnar treatment. That's what I think they should do with her. And I also have someone speak for her. You need to get her a manager.
Yeah.
So there was one person in the chamber who had history with Jade, and that was Tiffany. So she was legit the only person in the match who had any sort of previous beef with her, just because she was the one she lost the title to in that.
I mean, if you even want to call it that, though, their match was an absolute snooze fest, and Tiffany got hurt during their match. I mean, it was like, and she had lost to her multiple times beforehand. Tiffany beat her. If you recall, Tiffany beat her twice before Jade finally overcame her the third time. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was twice.
Tiffany beat her twice.
Overall, though, go ahead, T.
No, finish.
The Rhea choice to win, like you said, with her and Io dropping the titles on Friday, it pretty much choreographed that she was going to win. It would be a huge mistake for WWE to try to boost Jade up at the expense of Rhea, considering Rhea is your biggest star over there, right? Or one of your biggest stars there. And you have an opportunity here, and by you, I mean WWE, to start to course correct and right the ship for the SmackDown women's division by putting that belt on Rhea and giving that like a little bit of an infusion of new blood to that roster.
Not only that, but just making it matter again.
Yeah.
Like how many times on this channel have we said that, you know, and it doesn't have to do anything with the wrestlers because some of these women are the best wrestlers in the world. Io, Julia, you know, but it's like Asuka, you know, but these belts don't matter because the people holding them don't matter. The storylines that these belts are involved in don't matter. So if the way you want to do this is by just putting the belt on your biggest star, maybe it will make the belt matter a little more, right? If the biggest star in the company, you know, the biggest women's star in the company is carrying that belt, maybe it will matter a little more.
And you can use it to build new people too. I mean, have some of these newer people have awesome feuds with her. Give me
Yeah.
give me an awesome Jordan Grace Rhea Ripley feud. Give me call up Sol Ruka. Give me a Sol Ruka Rhea feud. Like there's a ton of potential that you can get out of this as far as building towards the future too.
And like I don't want to like go back to the days where it was only a handful of people, but you know what? You know when the last time these belts really mattered a lot? When Becky and Charlotte were holding them.
That far back?
I
Yeah.
mean, Rhea was a champion occasionally, and it was fun for a little while, but they mostly had Rhea wrestle Nia, and that was not interesting, you know. So maybe now it'll be better. I mean, the belt was not. It was all right when Io was carrying it for a little while, but the other belt wasn't interesting at all. Tiffany's reign was terrible. I mean, remember how bad Tiffany's reign was? It was terrible. She had
Yeah.
no credible challengers the entire time she held the belt until she had her match with Charlotte.
And
She kept getting they kept putting her Nia.
Yeah, and then
they're
they
not,
kept beating her Nia for 6 months.
but they're not really building that division very well. I mean, they're just sitting on the same women over and over again, and that's why the division's so stale. Because I mean, again, you have Julia, you have Vicur, you have Grace. I mean, you need to start putting them in front of the camera more. You need to start getting them in the ring with Tiffany and with Naya and all of them. You need to let them mix it up with those people so that you can get some sort of push and let the crowd dictate who they'd like to see. And that's pretty much how the WWE should be running right now. I mean, and to my point, Sean, you're making my point about none of these wrestlers had any connection in that match. There was nothing. It felt like nothing was at stake, right?
No, you're not wrong.
Watching them wrestle. And that's what happens. You got two different writing teams. There's no now how you gonna have all these writers write for one match?
I I said that as we were coming up to this match during one of our reviews that I remember the days where this kind of match wouldn't have Raw stars participating in it. Like when you're going up against to try to figure out who's going to take the opposite Rumble spot, basically, it was always people from that show competing in it. So, like if they were going against the Raw champion, it was always Raw superstars. The SmackDown champion, it was SmackDown superstars. So I don't know why. I don't know if it is a case of WWE sort of backing themselves into a corner with the way the rosters are set up. The thing we've been talking about with so many people tied up in like the tag teams that you just didn't have enough credible challengers in the SmackDown women's division that weren't part of another story. And I feel like that is most likely what we saw here because I couldn't tell you the last time that I don't recall them doing this very often where they've had a mixed show for a specific champion.
Yeah.
Which makes my point. You don't need two writing teams.
Yeah.
You're making my point all the way down, Sean.
No, but that also makes my point because if you had it as just a SmackDown thing, it would be just the SmackDown writing for it.
Yeah, but they rarely ever did that. When they first started SmackDown and Raw, it was all one show. They just went from one to the next. It was just TV shows for WWE.
Right, there was no brand split.
Right. Then they started trying to do the brand split, trying to treat it like as if, general managers, as if it's the NFL draft and all that other stuff. And it got a bit interesting at that point. But now you can't go back to that. You've been running it like this for a very long time. And it doesn't make any sense to turn it, especially I'm talking in terms of the writing team. It doesn't make any sense to try to treat it like they're actually two different shows because they're not. For us to look at it on TV, it should look like two different shows. Backstage, it's one show.
I feel it would only work if they truly committed to keeping them as two separate entities.
Yeah, but the problem is they learned that when you get injuries, now you're putting yourself in a hole on one of the shows because now you don't have enough people to put on TV. You're trying to develop young wrestlers. You can't just have a whole show with all NXT people, can you?
Yeah.
It also doesn't help when you have things like the women's tag titles that there's only one set of. So it's forced to be defended on both shows.
So you don't need two writing teams.
I'm saying that if they're gonna work it like that, yeah, at that point you don't.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it seems like in these matches, they seem a bit confused in the ring sometimes. I've never seen, there's been a lot of botches in matches lately. Like just nothing cohesive at all with some of the wrestlers. Even in that show. I mean, there was a lot of botches in that show. Tiffy almost fell on the top of the rope. She missed the glass. She was supposed to hit flat on the glass, almost missed it. I mean, got kicked in the face by Finn Balor. Split his
and LA Knight slipped off the top
Slipping
rope.
off the rope.
Logan Paul dumped Javon Evans on his head.
Mm-hmm. So think about this. Think about the Attitude Era and that time, even with John Cena. How many botches did you see? Now it's like a rarity. It's all the time. Then once in a while it'd be a botch and it would make it all over the internet. That's it, because you don't see it that often. Now you're just like every show has a botch all over the place.
Yeah.
Is part of that though because wrestling is a different style nowadays? Where things are a lot more.
I think we're getting a bit too philosophical here with this right now.
It's possible though. I mean, I'm sure that has a little bit to do with it, but overall, I just wish that they would try to bring some cohesiveness to the WWE, because they're just kind of all over the place right now.
The one bright spot about this match, though, was they did allow for Kiana James in particular to really shine at the beginning of this match. She gave a lot of offense out. She was, she was the one to pin Alexa Bliss, which was really cool. I mean, it was through help from Asuka through a misting, which is interesting because it seems like we're going to maybe head in a direction of Alexa and Charlotte versus Asuka and Kyrie. That will probably be where we'll go. They'll probably both be in that. I think it's going to be too soon to probably break the two of them up, and they'll very likely be in that multi-woman match for those tag belts with the Bellas, maybe Lyra and Bailey and Nia and Lash, and then Kyrie and Asuka will probably all make it into that large multi-person tag team match at WrestleMania. So I don't think there's really not much else you can do with any of them right now, but it was really good to see Kiana get a big rub in this match. And I think that, the future's bright for her. Everybody else, not so much. They kind of made Asuka look like a chump. She got eliminated by Raquel and who else did Raquel eliminate this? Oh, Kiana. Raquel eliminated Kiana and Asuka at the same time. Like, that was kind of ridiculous. And they did attempt to make Raquel look like a powerhouse, but Raquel has kind of always been sort of a goon background character a little bit. So it's both good and it's bad. I don't think that should have been done at the expense of Asuka, but I don't know.
Well, that needed someone that had some sort of intimidating presence in the match. Otherwise, you're just watching just kind of just average women, body wise, be in the match. With the men, it's always different sizes, and that's what makes the match interesting. You have a powerhouse, you got a speed guy, you got a guy who jumps off the ropes. They needed her in that match. I thought Raquel did pretty good. I thought they presented her pretty well as a dominating force. And I agree with you, Mike. I think that she is a background goon character. But for what they did for her in that particular match, I thought they let her do what she did. I had no problem with the way they presented her for that match.
Yeah, they let her show off her power quite a bit, and she looked pretty good. But you could see she was starting to run out of steam towards the end.
Yeah.
But I think that's a problem you run into with a lot of these bigger wrestlers. And I'm very, very curious with the way they're treating Kiana James, if they're actually going to be committed to building her. Because think about it. She pinned Rhea at one point. She had the amazing time in the Rumble. She's had a great time here in the Elimination Chamber. I mean, she qualified for it incredibly. Like, I'm hoping that with WWE needing to build the stars of the future, this is a sign that she's somebody that they're actually going to be committed to, like they were with Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
Because I can see her being the next Tiffany.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, they got to change her presentation a bit, change her look a little bit, and you can probably put her right in the middle of everything. Because, I mean, they need it. They absolutely need it. I mean, like I said, they got so many women wrestlers that they got sitting on the shelf right now that I don't think they know what to do. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the creative. All of it has to do with creative. And I just don't think that they're all on the same page. And I think because they're trying to they're more worried about ticket sales than the presentation now. That's what's taken away from WWE right now, because now it's strictly about how much money they can make and how many tickets they can get rid of. It has nothing
with TKO.
The show is second to all that, which it should be the opposite. If you put on a good show, you sell a lot of tickets, you build interest, and they're going the opposite route. But that's that's a UFC thing.
Yep. The better product is better money,
which led us to Becky Lynch defending her title against AJ Lee in her first singles match in over a decade. And this match was fine. I mean, AJ obviously got the win after some kind of shenanigans, as we all sort of predicted that there were going to be in this match. Becky definitely played the overconfident, but, kind of cocky heel throughout this match. Went and untied the top turnbuckle, and not the ref. And there was a ref bump in this match, and Becky cheated a bunch. But it was kind of surprising at the end. And I want you guys to talk about this a little bit, because during our live stream, we'd all kind of mentioned, like, when Becky hit the manhandle slam onto the chair, that should have been the end, and she should have retained at that point. But it instead just saw AJ Lee kick out, and then AJ Lee ultimately retained. Now, I want to say, yeah, I get it. It is Chicago, and AJ Lee is the hometown favorite, and that's kind of why when we did our predictions video, that's why I picked her, because I was just kind of thinking, like, they're just going to do this because she's from Chicago. But how do you feel about the booking of that ending? And I guess, where do we go from here?
WWE has a habit of, I wouldn't say fully ruining finishers, but ruining some of the moments after finishers by having people kick out when they shouldn't. They overbook sometimes, and this was a clear example of that. I don't think it would have hurt for AJ to lose there the way they did. And I mean, we know in the past we've seen hometown favorites lose when everybody thought they were going to win. We saw it here in Buffalo when they did it about Phoenix, and it was clearly, you could tell that it was getting to be the end of the match. And I think that it was a mistake for them to book it the way they did.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think what's going to happen with Becky's probably going to win it back at Mania. I think that's what's going to happen at Mania.
I don't know.
To back. Or, like I said, I mean, I think their storyline needs to add a third person into it to keep it interesting, in my opinion, because I don't know if we can do another 2 months of just watching them two going after each other, on the microphones every week, because, AJ barely even wrestles. I'm pretty sure maybe that's in her contract. She only has to wrestle every so often. So I think they need to probably introduce a third person in there.
I mean, I'm fully expecting them to go the route of Becky complaining for like ref favoritism or something along those lines to continue this feud. Because we even mentioned it during the live stream, why Jessica Carr, the ref, stopped them from going into the corner when it was going to be AJ, but then didn't stop when it was Becky. So it seems pretty blatant that that's the path they're going to take. At least that's what Sports Illustrated says about it. But I think
Bleacher Report.
Oh, can't forget about Bleacher Report. But I don't know if adding a third person, how exactly you would go about doing that. You know what I mean? Unless it's like Maxine or Natty, somebody who was like a side character to Becky's original goings on.
Well, let me rephrase that. I mean, in terms of, I thought that the writing should have somehow got a third person in there. I know right now it's probably too late to add a third person. It wouldn't make any sense. But they probably should have, because, I mean, if you're going to write the storyline out for so long, and, I mean, these two barely touch each other. A couple of slaps here and there is all you were getting for months. So,
yeah, I mean, you've got 6 weeks, right, between now and WrestleMania to either add a stipulation or, because you're right, Reese, this is probably going to be a rematch, and either get another person in there, get a stipulation, get something going with that, and I don't know what, but yeah, absolutely.
Chicago Street Fight.
It's going to be a special guest referee of some sort. That way, Becky,
Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, that way Becky can't complain about biased officiating.
Mm-hmm.
which led us to the World Heavyweight Championship match, which, in my opinion, was the best match of the night by a lot, between CM Punk and Finn Balor, which saw CM Punk retain his World Heavyweight Championship. And CM Punk got a really cool entrance where he kind of did the Michael Jordan thing where he came out of the locker room and then, his music hit and it was actually really, really sweet. And he got the biggest pop of the night. I mean, as he was going to, right? But I mean, the match between him and Finn was excellent. There were several near falls, multiple finishers hit. CM Punk did hit the GTS, to which Finn rolled out of the ring, got back into the ring, hit the coup de grace, which saw CM Punk kick out. And then ultimately, CM Punk did hit another GTS to get the 1, 2, 3. And then there was, as we had mentioned, there was no Judgment Day interference. And I think we are starting to see the beginnings of a face turn for Mr. Finn Balor.
I could see it. And he, again, that dude can wrestle with anybody. He just doesn't get the credit in WWE that he deserves. The guy can wrestle with anybody in that entire company. And Finn Balor is one of my favorites. He's another one. Like I said, usually it just seems like the good wrestlers, they just don't know what to do with them. I mean, if you're smart with the creative, you just let their in-ring ability tell their story instead of worrying about the microphone all the time or coming up with some weird, strange storyline just to get them included in it. But I am interested when they're, because we've been waiting for this for how long now? The whole Judgment Day thing. I mean, they've been
years.
2 years now, 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
So I mean, so most factions don't last that long. And I don't understand what the angle is, but I need Finn to get his shine.
I mean, in that 3 years, I think there's been a total of 4 months where every member's been healthy. So that kind of made it go a little bit longer, I think. But I mean, you could tell watching that Punk is obviously no spring chicken, and having someone like Balor in the ring with him who can help get past any like glaring age like related issues of him being like slower, I think really helped as well when you have somebody who is as amazing of a wrestler as Balor is. And I think the thing that shocked me the most is that the Judgment Day didn't interfere at all, that we didn't see any sort of like greasiness appear with Dom or like JD McDonough's giant head appear out of nowhere. Like I figured there would be at least some sort of something, because that is the big thing. They made a big point out of the fact that Balor told them that he wanted to do this alone. And we know that the Judgment Day is always, no, we gotta cheat, gotta help everybody. I mean, they made a big point of Dom saying, oh well, you guys are gonna help me, right? So I just find it real curious that we didn't even get an inkling of them coming to help. And then of course the offering of the handshake, and that was, I think, our first step down Balor's road to redemption.
Mm-hmm. So that was Elimination Chamber 2026. We did obviously have the box reveal to be Danhausen, which we talked about a little bit beforehand. So with that, fellas, what is your final rating for the show? And are we excited, concerned? How are we feeling about the road to WrestleMania, which now has 6 weeks to go and no PLEs left?
I'm a little worried on what other matches. They still have a ton of matches they have to make right now. And there's no other storylines outside of what we saw Elimination Chamber that makes any sense right now. Because they haven't done nothing with anybody, really. Everything's just been focused on Cody, Drew, Rhea. You can throw Tiffy in there now. I mean, it's only been a select few they're focused on. And they need to make up a 2-night. Now, they decided to do 2-night WrestleManias. And it's turning it into a debacle for them. It really is. It's turning into a debacle because we've seen it last year. They're trying to cram matches now. Now they're going to try and cram matches again this year, which I think if they didn't learn their lesson last year, they're going to. I wouldn't be surprised if you have another, up and down show 2 nights in a row. Some matches you're going to be like, okay. Some matches that look like they're pretty good. I just think WWE has not learned, or at least Triple H hasn't learned. Stop waiting until now to start trying to line up matches for WrestleMania. This stuff should be already planned out for a year. A year from now, this stuff should be planned.
I disagree.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree in that the stuff should be planned out a year in advance. So that part I 100% agree with. But I disagree on the fact that there's no matches or anything lined up other than the couple that you mentioned. We have Seth and Braun most likely. We have the El Grande story. Like there's significant things that they have already in place going towards this. And as far as it being a 2 night event, I'd much rather it was 2 nights than the until 1 in the morning that WrestleMania usually is. You know what I mean?
No, but you're missing my point is that they've changed it to 2 nights, but they have not changed their process in preparing for 2 night shows. They're cramming in matches now. You're at 6 weeks to cram in all these matches now and all these storylines. We've already complained that they're not cohesive with all their stories. How are you going to be cohesive if you're just now you're going Seth is now his storyline is going to take up half a show now. That's one match.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah, I see what Reese's point is, and I think part of the problem here is only a handful of stories like were like only a handful of stories you kind of knew were going to be matches, and that really only were the ones that were focused around the titles, right? And the title matches are always decided by the Royal Rumble, right? Because that's why they say Royal Rumble starts off the road to WrestleMania. But I think one of the things that WWE is missing from, the golden era, the attitude era, even John Cena's PG era with Dwayne, right? Like you you don't really have very many like blood feuds anymore, right? Like where you need to have the final match be at WrestleMania, right? To like blow off a feud, to end a feud, right? And what is the only feud right now going into WrestleMania? Roman and Punk. Like, I mean, Roman and Punk, they're going to tell a great story because they're some of the best mic workers in the business.
Cody and Drew?
Cody and Drew, right? But surrounding the titles, right? Outside of the titles, though, do you have any blood feuds at all? You've none.
Step in division.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, with all the injuries, that one's been so hard, Every single one of them has been injured. One is just coming back from injury, the other's not there at all. And then their big muscle just went down too. So it's like, are you gonna have Seth? Like Seth is gonna come out on Monday, I'm sure, but it's gonna be him and what? Logan Paul and Paul Heyman getting into it? Like, you know what I mean? So, and then maybe you'll have Logan Paul and Austin Theory like go after the tag titles. Maybe. I mean, but then again, who cares about the tag titles? We've said how bad are the men's tag titles booked on both shows, And I mean the IC title is a joke. Until they take it off of Dominic, it's a joke.
That's this week, right? That match.
That match is this week with him and Penta. But I mean, hope to God Penta wins that, so like we can actually start to see wrestling with that title, and not have it be a comedy title.
Well, see, here's the problem. I'm interested in that. Actually, that story I'm interested in, and what angle the WWE is going to go with the Penta and Dom thing, because now that Finn has had his title shot, and I thought they were going to angle it where that at WrestleMania you have Finn versus Dom. Does that mean Penta's not going to win Monday night? Probably not going to win.
No, you're probably right.
Maybe Finn accidentally costs Dom. Does a Finn Dom Judgment Day breakup match have to have a title involved?
Oh, no, it doesn't. You're right.
So Finn accidentally costs Dom Monday?
It's
or
possible.
Dom is expecting them to come and help him, and neither Finn or JD come out, and Dom ends up losing because of it.
It could happen.
Yeah, they do all of that, but I just don't have any faith that they're going to do anything like that. I think they've been angling for Finn and Dom. We've been waiting for this for about 2 years now. About 2 years for them to go against each other, and they're going to for Mania.
Like I said, that's another case of injuries causing things to be screwed up.
Yep.
But as far as this show,
you can't wrestle. I mean, the guy doesn't do anything with those belts. He does nothing. Well, at least the WWE Intercontinental belt, he doesn't do anything with it.
And he should not have the Intercontinental. He's had it for almost a year now. He should not have the Intercontinental title.
He defended it in this year. Twice.
handful. Yeah, it's
Because
bad.
you remember he lost it to Cena. Um, he they should have stripped him of it when he got hurt. In all honesty,
Mhm.
So,
but
but
I think
we got a lot of breaking down to do between now and the road to WrestleMania. So we will, we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff come up on Raw and SmackDown this week, and hopefully they can start to move these shows in the right direction. So, with that, what was your final rating, guys, for Elimination Chamber?
I give it probably about an average 3.
I think it was slightly above average. I give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Average show. I mean, it was okay. I mean, the matches, the wrestling, as always, is fine. Way too many commercials, right? And I just think they need to do a better job with their presentation. I think the entrances are too long, but I think the most important thing that we need to look at and look forward to is, if you'll pardon me for one moment, it's Riyadh season.
That
So that's my
your
final rating for the show, is a Riyadh season out of 5.
not a commercial break. Did
Unbelievable.
did Peacock have commercials?
They had like just the WWE branded ones, like the Slim Jim ones and like
Okay.
the Minute Maid ones and stuff like that. So
We didn't get a
not for
5-minute commercials.
not for like non WWE-esque commercials.
Mhm.
So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you enjoy Elimination Chamber 2026? Did you hate it? Are you excited for the road to WrestleMania? We do read and respond to all of your comments, and we appreciate all the feedback. So with that, have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.